everyone. Good evening. As you are coming on board, please tell us where you are logging in from. Tell us where you are logging in from. That would be great to hear from you. Um, Welcome to the show. Welcome to the live session. Welcome to our Saturday live session. Stargirl, you are early today. Thank you so much. How are you, Stargirl? How are you, Stargirl? Good to have you on board. As you are coming on, greetings to everyone. Thank you so much for coming on board. Thank you so much for coming on board. I think we are ready to go. I will greet until maybe for the next five minutes. I'll just greet everyone that's coming on board. Ladla Zipo, thank you so much. Keleto, thank you. Thank you for joining in. Star Girl from Pretoria. Some of you guys are regulars. I already know where you come from. So it's great. It's great to have you on board. It's great to have you on board. Thank you so much, Zintle. Thank you so much for coming on. As you are coming on, guys, please tell us where you are logging in from. It would be really great to know where you are logging in from. It would be really great. Yes, I see Nguye Faith. Good evening. First time watching. All the way from Polokwane. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm happy that you are joining us today. I hope you're going to have lots and lots of fun. Nguye's Faith, it's good to have you on board. Zama Samulefe from Alberton. Zama Samulefe from Alberton. I come from those areas. I'm from Ekurhuleni in Johannesburg. So I know those areas very well. Yes, thank you for coming on. Please tell us where you are logging in from. It would be lovely to know where you are logging in from. Tori is so joining in from Vryburg. Oh, Vryburg is about 140 kilos from Kuruman, which is where I am at the moment. So yes, where in Vryburg are you coming from? Where in Vryburg are you coming from, Toriso? It would be nice. Sami on board. Nice and early. Welcome, Sami. It's good to have you on board. Please like the live. Do like the live and continue to like the live so that other people can be aware of it. It would be great to have more people join us so we can have a nice conversation. They say the more, the merrier. So yeah, I believe that the more of us are on board, the more it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be more exciting for us to enjoy. Yes, so some of you are, okay, I see Noxi from Midrand. Noxi from Midrand has also followed us. Thank you so much, Midrand. Thank you so much, Noxi from Midrand, for following us. In Kyalami, okay, great stuff. Thank you for following us. We much appreciate the follow. And I think for some of you who have not followed us, if you want more access to my type of content, I would be happy to have you on board. I'd be happy to have you follow us so that we can enjoy this space together. I am more than happy to have that. Thank you so much. I see Zay Mutaung says good evening from Potchefstroom. Oh, wow, Potchefstroom. Nicely. I worked in Klerksdorp for about 12 years. So Potchefstroom, I'm very familiar with it. Where in Potchefstroom are you from? Where in Potchefstroom? I don't know. I can't remember whether it's Itsoseng. Is it Itsoseng? That's next to Potchefstroom. Where, yeah, a few people that I know come from that area. Stargirl, thank you so much. Toriso from Pretoria. You are from Pretoria working in Vryburg. Okay, great stuff. Deborah, Barcelona. Where is Barcelona, Deborah? Where is Barcelona? Are you talking about Barcelona in Spain? Which Barcelona are you referring to? Ladla Zipo, I am the only one receiving bad sound. Are you receiving bad sound? Guys, is there anyone receiving bad sound? Let me know if you are receiving bad sound so we can rectify it quickly. There shouldn't be any bad sound. If there is bad, okay. Deborah is from Spain. Okay, bad sound. Okay, TP says no. Toriso says no. Salamina says no. So I think Ikacheng. Z, thank you so much. Potchefstroom Ikacheng. And TP Tuli is from Nelspruit. So Dladla, please disconnect and connect again, just to refresh your device, so that at least it will refresh the sound as well. That should help. Pretty from Northwest Vryburg. Wonderful, Pretty. There's two people from Vryburg now. Keletso, thank you so much that you also have good sound. To Linel Spray, thank you so much. Tati Mashiko, I learned so much from you. May God continue to bless you for us. Thank you so much. I receive the blessings. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will continue doing this for as long as I can. Bernice! Hey, Bernice is on board today. How are you, Bernice? How are you, Bernice? I just saw you come on board now. Wonderful to have you, Bernice. It's been a while. I have not seen you interact. Maybe you've been joining, but I have not seen you interact. So thank you so much. Matsileng M. There's two Matsileng, so I need to be very specific. So this one is Matsileng M from Klerksdorp. Matsileng M from Klerksdorp. Thank you so much. Bernice, yay. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you. Asema Bri. Bloemfontein Pagati inside. Yes, thank you so much for coming through. Refresh, thank you. I'm sorted now. Thank you, Gagazipo. Thank you so much that you are sorted. Bernice from a distance, been listening on corridors. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you so much for continuing to listen. And for those who are coming on, Tondani, I can see you come on. Rose, the real deal, has joined. Daddy Boy has joined. Deborah, okay, Deborah has been with us. M has also joined. Majosi has also joined. D has also joined. Please tell us where you are logging in from. Kinosi has also joined. As you are coming on board, please tell us where you are logging in from. Please tell us where you are logging in from. It would be really nice to know. I'm not sure why I'm having a running nose today, but it's actually very irritating, but I'll be good in no time. I'll be good in no time. I see Imran is joined. ST has joined. Tell us where you're logging in from. Sovela, you are welcome. Lerato, you are welcome. I see Kinosi from Rockville, Soweto. Wow, okay. I have not been in Rockville, Soweto for a very long time. Ooh, I think it's probably over 10 years that I haven't been there. Pretoria, Riftfontein, Bernice. Thank you so much for tuning in. De Villiers has joined. User 27. I hope it's not De Villiers, my uncle. Hey. Sima has also joined. Dikalo has joined. Puseleto has joined. Perfect has also joined. Please tell us where you're logging in from. Linda has also joined. Tebogo T has also joined. KNQ has also joined. Tandega is also joined. Tell us where you are logging in from. Thank you, Zitle, for liking the live. Lucky, you are welcome. Puseletso, thank you for liking the live. Frida, you are welcome. T4, you are welcome. Lucy, Louis, you are welcome. Thank you so much, guys, for for liking the live. And T, you are also welcome. User 17, you are welcome. Mon Limhlongo, you are welcome. Neo, King of Kings. Wow, nice name. You are welcome. Puseletso, thank you for liking the live. Please do continue to like the live. Tag other people if you want to tag them. You can also share the live. You can also share the live. And yeah, as we continue, please do invite other people. So I'm about to invite you guys to share your topics, to share the topics that you want us to share today. As I welcome some of you who are coming on board, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for coming through. Please do share your questions. Do share your suggestions, your opinions on the content. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Magzo has followed us. Thank you so much, Magzo, for following us. We appreciate the follow. Very, very important. I like it when people follow because then they can have access to everything that I have on tap, which means as I load, you get notifications, which is very, very, very nice. And I also get to see your stuff because I get recommendations of your pages as well to see if some of you are doing the same work that I'm doing, that are doing. It's actually very good. Sky has joined us. Welcome. Meg has joined us. Cleo has also joined us. Guys, tell me, talk to me. I am here. I think by now you shouldn't be, how do I put it? You shouldn't be ashamed of raising conversations or raising discussions. You shouldn't be ashamed of raising anything. You must actually be on fire. You should be ready to take it on and tackle every issue that we are about to discuss. So yes, I'm here. I want to hear from you. Talk to me. I don't know where I've put my water, so I'm looking for it. I can't seem to find it. Give me a second. I need to have water with me or else I'm going to struggle. Oh, there. I've put it far from me. Alrighty then. Thank you so much, guys, as you're coming in. Please do share your questions. Do share your suggestions of topics. Do share whatever that you want us to discuss right now. I am here for you. We are ready to go. We are ready to go. Please do also follow us. If you're not following us, please do follow us so that you can have access to our content and be able to see it as we are loading it. It will give you much better handle on what is fresh and what is not. Deborah Gamedze. You sound, is it Swati? Or is it Ndebele? Is it Swati or Ndebele, Deborah? Your surname. Very, very interesting. Gamedze. Gamedze. Hey, it sounds like Swati. Yes, it's Swati. There we go. Yeah, because the dialect sounds Swati. Chili has followed us. Thank you, Chili. Thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. Hi, men of God. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, guys. And Kyra, you have such a poetic smile. Poetic smile. Wow. Thank you, Kyra. No one has ever said that to me for as long as I've lived. A poetic smile. Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. There is a topic there by Deborah. How do you deal with heartbreak that isolates you? Church friends feel distant and so forth. Okay, great stuff. Heartbreak. There was someone that asked me about heartbreak today on my page, and I hope they are connected now, because then it's going to help me. Destin, you are much appreciated for following us. You are much appreciated for following us. Kyra, thank you for following us as well. Miss Levi, you are also thankful. You are also thanked for following us. Much appreciated. Destin, Kyra, and Miss Levi, thank you so much for, I'm not sure if it's Levi or Levi, but yeah, look, I will call it the way I think it makes sense to be. Thank you so much. Yeah. There's another topic by Bernice that says, my profession is affecting my love life. My love life. What do I do? Your profession is affecting your love life. Wow. I'm going to start with that one because it's the easiest one to deal with. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope I didn't miss a lot. No, Matambo, we've just started. So Patega Kubeka says, recently saw a footage on a young lady working at a FET vet caught doing some witchcraft around the office. How do you navigate through that at work? Okay, interesting. Okay, I'll touch on that briefly. I'm not a witchcraft expert, so I don't like to discuss stuff about witchcraft, but I can talk to you about how to gear yourself up spiritually to get yourself to a level where these things don't actually affect you. And I think that's actually a lot more critical than trying to understand what people are doing in darkness. I'm not going to discuss what they did, but I'm going to discuss how to deal with challenges at work, whether they come spiritually, which in this case can manifest in different forms, issues of the heart. It can manifest through witchcraft. It can manifest through different things. So I'm going to deal with it from that perspective and not necessarily from witchcraft specifically. Venice is laughing when I'm saying it's easy. No, what I'm basically saying is at the top of my head, it's very easy to actually deal with that one because I have a lot on my head that has to do with what you've asked. How do you deal with a husband who is not supportive in everything that I do, church, social, and so on? Mengi, 79, I think when I answer Benice's question, it will probably cover some of the stuff that you are asking, because Benice is also talking love life and balance with profession. And I believe the same rule that you're gonna apply to balancing relationship and career will also help you to balance a relationship and other aspects, church or socially and so forth. You need to understand that is important. And the fact that you are saying it's husband, that's a lot more difficult, because we expect that when a person has reached the level where they call a person a wife or a husband, you should know each other well enough not to actually have these kind of problems, which is one of the reasons why I talk about the talking stage, which is very, very critical. But there is nothing wrong with you starting that talking stage while you are already in a marriage. And it's important because when you do that, it helps. As a relationship coach, these men use that against me. We don't deal with issues. Wow. Okay, that's what you mean. Benis, thank you for sharing life, because I was going to touch on it in a very generic manner, but thank you so much for shedding more light. Let me just wet my throat before I start. So let's start here. I think what is important for us to get and understand is that whenever you want to start a relationship, part of the reason why I believe it's important to follow the 4 stages that I have given you. Salima, thank you so much. I appreciate that. they are covered. I appreciate that your Saturday evenings are covered. They are completely covered. So that is actually very nice. So what I want to touch on is the fact that when you are, as a person, when you are finding yourself in a space where a relationship is starting, and a lot of you who've been joining the lives as I've continued, you would have probably understood that there is a lot that goes into figuring out what is it that is important for you to disclose when you are at the talking stage in a relationship. And it's very important to evaluate at that level. And it's very important for you to determine that. Nguye Faith, I've seen your question. Thank you so much. I will capture some of those and hopefully I can get to all of them. There's 4 of them now. Kakai71, thank you so much for following us. So what I want to then touch on is the fact that I've mentioned this last week, that everything begins with you establishing what your values are and establishing what is it that you value in life more than anything. You will find that many a times, even if you do find partners that you might personally believe that they are compatible and they are good for you, but you might find that if you consider all the facets of who you are as a person, that person might not necessarily be compatible. So Bernice, I hope you are with me here. And please do share your opinion as I'm going so that I make sure that I cover the question to your satisfaction. So it becomes important to have that realization to say, this is who I am and this is what I do. And whichever person that comes into my life, whichever person that wants to form a partnership with me, because that's how I perceive a relationship. To me, a relationship is a partnership. This thing of it being an emotional, sentimental, lovey-dovey, those things are extras. They are like when you bake a cake. The cake is not really the icing. The cake is not really the decorations that you see on the outside. Because yes, they'll make you excited when you get the cake and it looks like a vehicle. Yes, but you're not going to eat the vehicle. You're going to eat what is inside, which is the flavor of the cake. So you can have that cake, but it's chocolate on the inside. Or you can have a similar cake. All of them look exactly the same, but there are different flavors on the inside. Now, you will never know what the inside of that cake is until you have actually explored the person in conversation. Now, it is difficult for a person to explore you as a person when you have not determined certain things about yourself. You have not determined your values. You have not determined who you really are as a person and what is it that you hold at high esteem where you are concerned. What are those values that make up who you are? What are those values that impact your decision-making process? And I dealt with this at length last week. I dealt with it at length last week. And for some of you who were not in it last week, I took some of the snippets of that show and I posted them on my page. So go into my page. You are going to find some of the things I'm touching on right now. And it's very important for us to understand that once you've reached a point where now you are loving yourself, which is the first stage. The first stage, you are loving yourself. The second stage, you are understanding yourself. The third stage, you are at the talking stage with others. The fourth stage, those you are talking to that you see a potential of entering a partnership with, you are now at the point where you are able to discuss common ground. So first, love yourself by understanding what your values are and the things that actually define who you are as a person, because they play a very critical role in how you make decisions. They play a very critical role in how you behave, what affects you and what impacts you as a person. Those values, if you do not understand what your values are as a person, you are in a very difficult situation, because a lot of things are not going to make sense when you are trying to deal with them in life, because you are not dealing them from the understanding of who you are as a person, which is the second one. Apart from you loving yourself for your values, but you also need to understand yourself. Why? Why do you have to understand yourself? You have to understand yourself for several reasons. What a few of those reasons are: you understand yourself so that you know as a person what makes you tick, what makes you despondent, what encourages you, what disappoints you, and what puts you down. So that when your energy levels at any point in time in your life are high or low, you can tell whether is it a normal system of high and low, or is it because I'm encountering things that are taking energy from me or that are taking strength from me. Thank you so much, Porosia, for the gift. Thank you so much. I appreciate the rose. Much appreciated. And Mshimza, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. So this is important to realize, because once you are at that point where you begin to realize that knowing myself means understanding that. And secondly, it means knowing my strengths. Thirdly, it means knowing my areas of improvement, which people call weaknesses. I don't like calling them weaknesses because I believe it casts a negative connotation to those. And I strongly believe that what we call weak points are actually areas of improvement, because you can do something about it, which is what I call closing the gap. Closing the gap. You can close the gap by knowing what are those areas that you are not good at. What are those areas that require improvement from you? Then you are able to now find material that's going to help you to close those gaps and so forth. By that time, you are now at stage 2. You are done learning how to love yourself and you are good at it. You are done trying to understand yourself, and there are several things that you understand yourself that you can grasp. So that even if a person comes to you and they say, what is it that I need to do to show you, love? If I were to show you love consistently, what are the 2 top things or the 3 top things that I need to do as a partner for you? A lot of people who have done the first and the second stage that I've already mentioned will most probably be very accurate. Probably 80% and above accurate in terms of them knowing what is it that makes them happy, what is it that makes them tick. Why? They have taken the time to evaluate that. Mfan Corner, thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate you so very much. Now it's important because once you are at that point, you have the ability to express yourself, you have the ability to articulate yourself and actually be very specific about certain things, so that you are not one of those people that say, me, I want a man who will shower me with money. I want a man who will shower me with gifts. I want a man who will always take me out on holiday. You find a person who wants a relationship, and those are the 3 things that sit at the front of everything. And once they get into a relationship and they get all of those things, they realize that there are other things that are far more important than the money. There are things that are far more important than the gifts. There are things that are far more important than the other stuff that they asked for. Now, why are they finding themselves in that space? It's simply because they have not taken the time to self-introspect, to evaluate and self-understand, so that they know really what is it. Some of them, they say, if you buy me flowers, I feel loved. Yeah, you can buy flowers every Friday. But I can tell you right now, it's not going to maintain love for the rest of the relationship. There are a lot more other value-based stuff that you need as a person that will sustain you far more than the stuff that will cause emotions through hormones in your body. Hormones will be released and you get excited at that time because you just received flowers. Each petal has 200 rand and you are just excited and you are posting on social media. After a few days, that excitement is gone. What are you going to need now to continue feeling loved? There's absolutely nothing. Lebukhang, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. So what I'm trying to get to, Bernice, is that it has everything to do with the individuals. And I'm talking to the person that also asked about the supportive husband. Very, very important to understand, because that balance comes from 2 people that have met each other knowing that this one has a life. This one has a life, and these 2 lives are coming together. Now, for them to be able to do that is the 3rd stage that I'm talking about, which is what I call the talking stage. This is where people sit and talk. The intention is not to date at that time. And I want you to really understand this, guys. The intention is not to date at that time. The intention is to talk and get to know people. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because a lot of people, Ngwe Faith, thank you so much for the gift. You are much appreciated for the roses. The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people can lie when there is a lot at stake. If a person feels they have not gotten what they want from you, if they are there to play with your emotions, they are going to lie all the way because they have no intention to stay in that relationship. But it is far easier to determine that upfront, prior to you dating them, prior to you opening yourself intimately to them, prior to you opening yourself up financially to them, prior to you opening yourself up in other areas like emotionally and sexually and so forth, prior to you getting to that point, you are already having meaningful conversations with them that they can honestly tell you stuff. When you ask a question, you can honestly find answers. Someone asked me a few weeks ago and said, what if they lie? I said to them, even if they lie, continue having conversations. There is no single human being that I know in the entire world that can consistently lie accurately every time. There is no human being that I know. There is no human being that I know that can lie consistently and accurately. Kinosis, thank you so much for the roses. You are much appreciated. There is no human being that I know that can do that. None. None whatsoever. I do not know a human being that. So if you continue talking and you are a good listener, and you are attentive, and you make sure that you understand. Bernice says powerful. Thank you so much. I'm happy that I'm still in line with your question, and I'm glad that I'm covering this. So I think also what's her name again? I saw her name just now. Menji, please do comment as I'm answering these questions, because I'm trying to deal with those things so that you can evaluate the situation that you are in with your husband, so that you understand. Have you guys had conversations enough for you to know each other well? Have you guys had conversations enough for you to know what is important to him? What is it for him to know what is important to you? What is it that you value? What is it that they value? Have you guys now reached the third stage, which is now after you have talked, you have spoken? The third stage is when you now, the fourth stage is when you now reach common ground, which is the part where you now decide that, yes, the world has defined how relationships must look like. The world has defined how marriages must look like. To you, two people, what is your definition? Semi D, thank you so much. Thank you so much for following us. Much appreciated. I appreciate that the feedback, Bernice. I appreciate that, so that I can cover enough and make sure that you are covered. Thank you so much. Now, what I'm trying to get to is, now you get to a level where you can evaluate and say, if we are already in a relationship, maybe we need to begin to sit down and ask each other, what is your perception of this marriage? What is your perception of this relationship? Do you think we have a good marriage? Do you think we have a good relationship? Even married couples that think they are happy, they need to have these kind of chats. They need to have them, because this is when you are creating a platform for the next person to be able to express themselves to you. And it needs to be open-ended questions. It needs to be open-ended questions, which is the questions that do not need yes or no as an answer, but that needs a person to express themselves. Very, very important, because once you are in that space, you are able to deal with a lot. You are able to touch on a lot. And this is important. What am I trying to say to you? What I'm trying to say to you is that open yourself up to the possibilities of learning new things, even if you have been married for 5 years. Maybe you have been married for 5 years and you've not been conversating with your partner. There is still a lot to learn. Maybe you've been married for 10, 15 years, but you are not conversating with your partner. There's still a lot to be learned. Do you know that there are people who are dating today that do not even know the values of their partner? They don't know their values. They don't know what their partner values the most. They do not know the things that affect the thinking process of their partner. They do not know the things that impact the decision-making process of their partner. And yet they expect to do well in a relationship. It's going to be hard. You're going to have difficulties, because there are things they will do. If you understand their thought process, if you understand the systematic way they think, some of the things you're not even going to make them issues. Because you will observe and say, okay, I understand. From what I know about this person, I understand what is currently happening to them. And you are not even going to make issues, things that other people might look at and say, how can you let your husband do this? But because you understand what is going on, you are not going to make it an issue. And many a times you will find that external people tend to fuel a lot of things between couple. Either by a couple observing one of the partners, observing something outside, and they want to have the same thing in the relationship. Because you don't know yourself well enough, you want to go and adopt things that are coming from outside, because you have not taken the time to understand and know yourself well. Now, once you sit and have a conversation, it means your profession, Bernice, your profession sits at the core of who you are as a person, because this is what you chose to do. This is what you chose for the world to understand you as. Menge, I'll come to that just now. I see. Let me just read your comments just now. Salima has shared the live. Thank you so much. Malum Mabia says, yes, true on that, say. And Dada Zipo says, yeah, true. Always be eager to learn more. And then Menge says, what if he doesn't want to explore new things? I am not saying explore new things. I am saying talk. I'm not saying explore new things. I am saying talk. Begin to talk and explore the expectations and explore the perceptions. What is his perception of the marriage? What is his perception of you? Those conversations are important. Don't go into new things as yet. Those things must come based on consensus. But what I'm trying to get to is that you are getting yourself into a space where you are conversating and you are trying to get to know each other better. That's what I'm trying to say. Because you getting to know each other better will also help him to understand why certain things are important to you. And this is not a platform for you to argue and this and no. You are just talking. You are just merely talking, because many a times, a lot of people who are in relationships, they have this attitude of wanting to change a person, or wanting to, say things that will be the ones that the relationship will adopt. Some people want to be the only ones. If I say something, it must hold water, because I see myself as the smarter one in the relationship, or I see myself as the dominant one. So if I say something in the relationship, it must go. That is not the intention. The intention here is to have conversation, to say, I want to know how you think. I want to understand the way you think. I want to understand how you see us as a couple. I want to understand how you perceive me as a woman. If I were to say to you, paint an ideal picture of what a woman in a relationship to you would look like. And I'm not talking physical appearance. I'm talking about value attributes. What are those things that person will say? That's when you will get to know if that person is also shallow in their thinking or not. Because when you pick up now that even themselves, they don't know what they expect from you, now you know that the likelihood is that the pressure is coming from outside. And it's not internal. And I can tell you, and I can assure you, more than 50% of relationships that don't do well, the influence is from outside. And it doesn't have to be people influencing the person. No. They adopt it through social media. They adopt it through hearing other people talk. They adopt it through seeing other people treat each other in a certain way and behaving in a certain way. And that creates a problem. So you will find that many a times people will say, no, it's because you think you are a pastor. Therefore, you think everything you say must be right. And they want to use that against you as a person. Lillian John Mulele, thank you so much for sharing the live. You are much appreciated. For sharing the live. Now, Dladla Zipo, okay, as said 100% to Stargirl. Limpo says powerful. Zimu Town says true, definitely good, taking notes. Thank you so much. Menji says yes, the influence is from outside. Now, if you know that the influence is from outside, the conversations now even become more relevant for you. Because what it means is that you need to then have the conversations that I've just mentioned. Because only then the person that you are conversating with will realize that they actually don't have substance within themselves. The substance they claim to carry comes from the outside. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you take stuff from the streets, it is very hard to use that stuff in a conversation. And I'm talking a real conversation. I'm not talking arguments or all these other. I'm talking when people are talking calmly, relaxed, with dignity and respect, and they're just having a conversation. You will realize that you don't have a foot to stand on when you take things from the streets and want to use them in the house. Salima says 100% outside influence. Stargirl says profound. Thank you. Much appreciated. Dladla Zipo says external influence are killing our relationships. True. And user 60 says, what if I want to communicate and he doesn't too? I also keep quiet. I've dealt with this in the past before. Guys, I personally believe that you cannot be in a relationship. And for those of you who are dating, it's not like in a marriage. In a marriage, you will probably need counseling for you to get that person to talk. Find help. Because while it's still you, the likelihood is that you might not be able to get through to them. But if you are dating, you need to give that man ultimatums. You need to give that woman ultimatums. There is no way a human being can choose to go want to date someone's child and choose to be a mute person in the relationship. You were good at talking when the relationship was starting. All of a sudden, now you are mute. You don't know how to talk anymore. You don't know how to express yourself. For whatever reasons. I don't even want to go into the reasons, but there are a lot of people that are influenced by different reasons. You cannot tolerate as a person, a partner that does not want to talk. Why are you in a relationship in the first place? People who don't talk must relate with themselves alone because they can do introspection. They can think deeply. They can meditate and do all sorts of things alone without bothering or being bothered by anyone. But if they choose to date, they need to learn to open this mouth and express themselves and conversate, which is why the 4 stages that I've given you are very, very critical in making sure that when you enter a new relationship, you enter a relationship having reached stage 4 already. Do not enter prior to you getting into relationship. Matileng M says they are mute because they are no longer interested. Yeah, that's possibly the reason, which is why I am saying if they are mute, give them an ultimatum. You can't date a mute person. The same way you can't date a deaf person who can't hear you when you are talking to you. You just can't. And you can make, and I've said to you before, I've said this to you before, guys. You cannot fix a problem for the rest of your life. You just can't. You will have to put some ultimatums. You have to put some timelines to say, look, I am giving this thing 90 days. Or I am giving it 6 months. I'm going to do the best that I can for the next 6 months and see what happens. If nothing changes, and I'm going to make this person aware to say, I am giving us 6 months. If nothing changes in the next 6 months, I'm moving on with life. There's just no ways, because what is the hope of even getting into marriage when we are struggling to relate at the relationship level? And many a times you'll find that they have lost interest mainly because they were there for transactional reasons. I've given you 3 types of relationship. And guys, every single conversation you are having with people, evaluate it from this perspective. Lerang 2022, thank you for following us. Mato, thank you so much for following us. Robert Kolani, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. And Bell ZRR, thank you so much for following us. And Danko, I see the comments. So, and I think Benice says, how did we even get with them in the muted in these muted partners? Ultimatum is my future answer. It should be, especially when you are dating. But when you are married, it can't be an ultimatum. It has to be, let's go find help. Because I don't condone people divorcing because things are not working. I condone people going out there and doing their best. Diwali03, thank you for following us. Thank you so much, Diwali. You are appreciated. I believe it's important. When you are married, you can't just walk away from a marriage just like that. You need to fight. You need to fight for it. But some of you who are in relationships, you need to really make sure that the person that you are in a relationship with really understands this. And they understand that here we talk. And that's why I advise you, do these 4 phases before you even begin to think of getting into a relationship with a person. Have these conversations. Shibu, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. Rewan says true. Limpo says, but won't sound like a threat. Well, if it sounds like a threat, it's warranted. That threat is warranted. And I don't think any person who really wants to fix things will see that as a threat. I don't think they'll see it as a threat. And if they do see it as a threat, then maybe what you need to make them aware is that I'm not threatening you. I just feel like we're going around in circles and we're not getting anywhere. And I seriously, I really, really want this thing to be resolved. I really want this thing to be resolved. Salemia says true. Robert Kolani says, be blessed, my man. Thank you so much. Benny says, some of these muted partners use strategy and self-defense, lack of accountability. Then you don't have a partner. Guys, you don't have a partner. We cannot continue to justify nonsense from people that we call partners. No. We just can't. You can't continue justifying nonsense on behalf of a person who's really openly unwilling to want to do anything in the relationship. Such conversations you should not even be having. They were all active and all serious when they wanted you. And now that they've enjoyed a few benefits, now they want to check out. That's why I'm saying, evaluate these people before you date them. Evaluate them before you get into a relationship with them. It's very important, guys. Very, very important. Palima says, you are 100% correct. Mine was here to milk me. You see? Now it's a was, which means that person milked you. They got what they wanted and they left. Now you don't want to find yourself in that space. Guys, it is better to be single than to date for the wrong reasons. It is better to be single than to date for the wrong reasons. I am telling you this now, and I'm going to say it again. It is better to be single than to date for the wrong reasons. I would rather sit alone and do nothing relationship-wise and just continue with building myself and building my life and just continuing with my life, as opposed to trying to be with a person only to compromise myself. You lose nothing taking your time in making that decision. I gave you an example, how another person took 2 years. Last week, that's the example I gave you. She took 2 years checking this guy out, because it's not all of us that are good judges of character. Some people need more time to do it. Some people don't. But I advise you, take as much time as you need. Take as much time as you need. Limpo says, thank you, great answer. Mengi says, he even said he wants divorce. At that time, I was going through a lot with my little brother being. You see, that person is mute. They're not talking to you. They don't want to support you. And on top of that, they're threatening divorce. That's what I'm saying. You will need to decide. that I'm going to propose that we get help with this person as a means to save our relationship. But if none of us are willing to get help, there's no hope. There's no hope. In fact, we're going to end up destroying one another in that relationship. Salima says it's better to be alone. Amen. User 20, thank you so much for following us. Blessing, thank you so much for following the live. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Benny says, I dumped yesterday for the same reason. I lost nothing. Not worth it. You see, you need to be decisive, especially at the dating level. So Benny's, next time, don't date. Talk. Get to a stage where you are comfortable. Get to a stage where you are happy with what you know about this person. And for some of you who believe in prayer like me, to pray before you get into a stage where you are comfortable with a partner, you also still need to consult God and pray. To say, Lord, I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what I have done. Lord, this is what I've done. Some of you might need to pray prior, so you don't waste your time trying to get to know people that are not what God has meant for you. Some of you might need to pray after. But some of you will pray a lot better when you have observed the person, when you have looked and you have evaluated. Some of you might not even get to prayer. You will observe this person. Blessing, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. You will observe this person and realize, Trinity, thank you so much for following us. Trinity, you are much appreciated. You will observe this person and make up your mind already. This one, Benice, thank you so much for the roses. This one does not even deserve prayer. Star Girl, thank you so much for the roses. Much appreciated. Thank you so very much. Nguye Faith, thank you so much for the roses. Guys, thank you so much for the gifts. I am loving it. Thank you so very much. You might not even get that. The look. Thank you so much for following us. Thank you, the look, for following us. You are much appreciated. Much appreciated. You might not even get to that point where you bother yourself about whether this person wanted to date you to rob you or wanted to date you to get with you. Because remember, transactional, they've got something to gain from you. That's one type of relationship. Sentimental, it feels good to be around you. It makes them feel good to be. Maybe you are beautiful, maybe you are attractive, or you are this, you are that. They just want to have you as a trophy and all of that. The last one, value-based, which is what I prefer more than anything. But even if you are in a value-based relationship, you will find that there is a 2% of sentimental. There is a 3% of transactional. It's important to have that to some extent. But it shouldn't be a large extent of... And why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because some people, if you are a man or you are a woman, you need to marry a person that you can trust with your personal things. Why? There's a transactional portion to it, which means you need to trust their ability to be able to manage budgets, their ability to be able to learn from what you are doing, so that even if you pass from this world, they can run the businesses and take care of your children. That transactional element is important. And then the sentimental one. Of course, you need to marry a person or date a person that you feel they are attractive and you enjoy being around them. But it doesn't have to be the main thing that is there. They don't have to be 100% supermodel or 100% hunk for you to go for them. Sometimes looks can be deceiving. But like I said to you, for me, those two things are less than 10% of what I prioritize when I get into a relationship. Less than 10%. Less than 10%. It doesn't matter how beautiful a woman is. With the years, she will change. With the years, she will change. It does not matter. She will change with time. Even that man will change with time. Some of us are growing tummies that we can't bring back to six-pack anymore because of our age. We can push as much as we want. The six-pack will come. But after some time, it will go unless you continue exercising for the rest of your life. But the body is already telling you that when you are pushing this way, it wants to bring you this way. And I'm talking about people who are eating healthy. I'm not talking about bad habits of eating here. I'm talking about people who are even eating healthy. And you prioritize this. And Victory says, what do you prioritize? I did a video on this. How to prioritize in relationships. Please go into my page, Victory. You will find a video that deals with how to prioritize. Odwa only. Thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. And Tahisi Gumani says, I tried dating a girl who made me feel like I don't deserve to be loved. I feel like I'm not enough. You see, now it's your problem. You dated a person. The likelihood is that they made you feel that way because they feel that way about themselves. Now you are experiencing emotions, you are experiencing feelings that another person was feeling and they were going through. Now they have imprinted that on you. Now you are left with it. They are your ex, but now you are left with inferiority complex. You understand what I'm trying to say? You would have picked up all these things at a talking stage. Prior to even considering dating this person, you are just talking. Even when you pray, it's an easy prayer to say, God, I'm talking to this person. What is your opinion about it? Even if God says no, it won't hurt you. A lot of us get it wrong, obviously, when it comes to that. Because by the time we go to God, our minds are already set to say, this is what I want. So the answer is hard to get. Because your emotions, feelings, opinions, perspectives, and all these other things are interfering with everything else. And you find yourself in trouble. No Golide. Oh, no Golite says, I have been single for 20 years. After I got divorced, I enjoy to be single. Hey, 20 years. Wow. That's commendable. I don't know what your future plans are, but for you to remain single that long, you really must have had an amazing plan. And I hope one day you can share with us how you managed to remain single that long. Because there are other people that have to remain single, but they don't know how to remain single. And they just keep dating, even when they know they are not ready. They just keep dating for the sake of dating. They date. Even when they can tell, I'm not fine, I have not healed, I'm not okay, but I can't be alone. I remember I saw a post on Facebook this one time and says, to those who are single, how has life been without a man? It's like they are mocking the fact that when you are single without a man, life is different. It can be amazing. It can be fulfilling. Even for men without a woman, it can still be fulfilling. It can still be amazing. You can still enjoy your life without having to worry about any of those things. So Nogolite, please share with us. Maybe you can text it and tell us what are the 3 key things that you had to do to make sure you remain single for that long, because other people can learn from it. What is it that you did? What is it that you did? It's important. It's important. Sipantuli, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. Victory, as I've mentioned, if you want to know those priorities, I have shared how I prioritize on those videos. Go into that series. I think it's about 12 clips of 3 minutes each that I've done on that specific topic. Or you can go into my YouTube and find that particular title, because then it's a full video on YouTube. So thank you so much. Salima says, I realized that the relationship was based on his convenience and I'm glad I chose to live intact. You see? Limpo says, I follow, or Limpo has followed the live. Okay, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Porosia says to Nogolite, same boat, but made a mistake remarrying. Oh my word. Yeah, look. Try to fix it. Try to fix it and see what happens. Kurula says, you give such wise advice. Are you I have been married. Hopefully, I will remarry very, very soon. I am almost there. I want to get to that. I have been married and I got divorced. And some of the learnings I'm giving you is stuff that I learned. Because it's easy when you get divorced with a person to blame them and say, they did this, they did this, they did. But when you actually truly and honestly sit and reflect, you begin to realize, I was 50% part of the problem. Some of you who are honest enough, you will even say, I was the real problem. If I had acted right, this relationship would have survived. That introspection, very, very important. And it's very, very, very critical. And we are learning from our experiences. We are learning from what we are going through. And like I said, I will probably have a time, if time permits and if my heart also permits, where I'll share a story of my life so that you guys may understand where I have been and what I have gone through and where am I now in my life. And I think that would also help you to realize as a person that it is never too late to find ways to fix yourself. It's never too late to find ways to readjust your life. It's never too late to find ways to redefine yourself as a person. Very, very, very important. Miss Pretty, thank you so much for the flowers. It's good to have you on board. I didn't see you come in. You are welcome. Pablo says, real stuff. Salima says, very amazing to put full focus on yourself until ready. Very important. It's easy to point fingers, but it's hard. It's very hard to look into yourself. Very difficult. Especially when you are already dating and there is a lot it's hard. Because you are not going to be honest. You will always find yourself, thank you, Porosia. You will always find yourself in a space where you want to justify. Say, no, Mara, they are also wrong. And you are introspecting. But for some reason, you are also trying to find reasons and excuses to justify why you feel they are also wrong. And it's not important. What is important when you introspect is, where are you? How are you? Are you okay? Sometimes you are not okay. And there are some people in a relationship or even in a marriage where they will need to go alone and go find counseling all by themselves. Because the bulk of the problems have nothing to do with the other partner, but it has everything to do with them. And if they go out to go sort out those issues, they are going to do so much better. And they will tell the husband to say, you know what, I think I have major problems to deal with for me to be a better woman in this relationship. Please, don't be surprised if you see me go for counseling. I think I need help to fix myself. And if a partner loves you, they will support you. Some might even say, do you want me to come with you? Do you want me to join you in those sessions? Whatever the case might be, when you realize that you are the problem, go out of your way to fix it. Go out of your way to fix it. Pablo says real stuff. Thank you. Salima says very amazing to put. Okay, no, I didn't. I have read that already. Petty M. Thank you so much for following us. And then Palima says, can ancestors guide you in the right partner? Hey. So look, I have not mentioned ancestors in my whole conversation. I have not mentioned them. Even in the 4 stages that I've given you, I have not mentioned ancestors. And for very specific reasons. And if you are interested in this topic, I can have an in-depth conversation on one of the lives if you guys want me to discuss my perception of ancestors. And I will tell you what is it that I think about ancestors and what is it that I subscribe to where ancestors are concerned. And we can go into that. What I am saying right now is that you need to take accountability for your actions. You need to take accountability for the messes that you have been through that have tainted and changed the person that you are. You need to take accountability of the fact that you have dated in the wrong places and it has impacted you negatively. Some of you, it has even changed who you are as a person. And those effects are very, very critical. Please accept my request. Brendan, I want to understand what request is that. T4 has shared the live. Thank you so much. Please, guys, I want to see what you guys are saying. Please accept. I want to know what is it that I need to accept. What is it? What happened to your eyes? What happened to your eyes? What eyes? You mean this? That is working schedule. When I was still a career person, I had a crazy working schedule until I went into business. It's only now that I'm slowly recovering. They're actually looking way better than they used to be. So I'm recovering from that. I used to be a career man, 24/7 career man. Even on Saturdays, Sundays, I would juggle between the things I have to do in career. And that strained me a lot. And I have a lot to say where that is concerned as well for a lot of you that think your job must define everything that you are. You need to be very careful. You're going to lose stuff about yourself that you might not necessarily be able to recover. Sometimes it can even be your health. Very, very important. So yeah, that's what happened to the eyes. I won't go into that much detail. Greetings to everyone. Brendan says I must accept the request. I'm not sure what request is that. Please, Brendan, tell me what is it. You are laughing. Brendan is laughing, so I'm not sure what request is that. Miss Pretty, she's also laughing. Tori, so please brand it nicely. Okay, you are talking to Bernice. Okay. Brendan is also asking me to accept the request again. I'm not sure what request is this. I want to come on the panel and share with you a story. Okay. Musupa Tsela has followed the live. Thank you so much. You appreciate it. User 33 has followed us. I want to come to the panel. Please accept. Okay, I will do that just now. Brendan, just hang on for us. Charles, thank you so much for following us. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing the live. Brendan, not Brenda. Is it Brenda? Oh, it's Brendan Dala. Okay, my apologies, Brenda. My apologies. Ivy, thank you so much for following us. Sorry about that, Brenda. I thought it's Brendan Dala. My apologies. You know, we meet on TikTok, we meet people that are coming from all walks of life. So reading the names can sometimes be very difficult, especially when there are no gaps or dashes or anything between the name and surname. It makes it a bit hard. Forgive me for that, Brenda. Let me do this for me to be able to accept you. Toriso is worried about your water bottle, say. What is wrong with my water bottle? Oh, the brand. Don't worry about my water bottle. Don't worry about it. It's okay, I understand. Say, okay. Now, let me do this. I'm going to swipe to try and see if I can get... Okay, I see the request now. You are accepted, Brand. I think, Bernice, have I answered your question properly? BT says, I love your blogs. Thank you. Appreciate. Please, Bernice, Give me feedback. Mengi, also please give me feedback. I want to know if I've covered your issues. Benetia says, I tried therapy after I was in a marriage that changed, but I felt like it's not working. You need to push it. It has to work. Don't give up on yourself. It has to work. You can't lose yourself over another person. It's not worth it. Go back in there and fight for yourself. Fight for your life. Precious has followed us. Thank you so much. So Brenda, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
No, I just want to say that most of the time what we do, we look at other people's relationship and how they perceive or understand love, and we take from that and we are trying to find answers and solution, and at the end of the day we fail, because when you come on the table and you ask people what is love, what is marriage and all that, there's different type of answers, and people, because they can't find the answers, they end up saying that explaining love in their own ways. But what I have realized is that if we can remove our eyes from different type of information we have received, what is love, what is relationship, what is marriage, and we go back to the owner or the creator of love himself and the creator of marriage, that's when we will start to understand what is this institution called marriage, because the Bible says that God is love. So let's start there. So we understand that, God is love. And then the Bible says he loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son. So that means love, there must be a gifting. There must be something that you give away. There must be something that you're losing. And it's not just anything, but you need to sacrifice. You need to lay down your life. What I have seen most of the time is that I always say this, that most of marriages that have not worked, or where there is divorce, most of the marriages of divorce, they came about coming from women. Women are the one that caused divorces, and always, they want to kill me when I say that. But why am I saying that? I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna back it up. The Bible says that the wise woman builds her own home, and the foolish one destroys it. So who destroys it? It is the woman. The Bible says that. And who builds it? It is the woman as well. So that is why I'm saying that many divorces, they come from women. And I know I'm going to be bitten for that, but I'm telling you, it is the whole truth. They hate me for that when I say that. They come for me like for my life. but but it is the truth. Sometimes another factors that are happening within the marriage is that women, they don't understand what is a man, and they don't understand even what is a woman. We don't understand who we are at the same time. So there is, as you don't understand who you are, you don't understand what makes you happy, what makes you sad, and when you are happy, how do you behave, and when you are sad, how do you behave. And another factor that we've got is the hormonal imbalance. We're having hormonal imbalance, we are moody, we are going through a lot, and you find that a man doesn't understand to say, now what's your problem, and he doesn't understand. Now you went in the bedroom, you were fine, you're coming out, you are moody, you don't want anything now, like you're pissed to the core, you see. So the problem that we can buy a refrigerator and read the manuscript of it and understand how it works, but we can go into marriages and relationship without understanding what we are getting ourselves into. I find it being so unfair of us. I find it so being not accountable of us. Every other thing, it's been studied on, and we get information on that, but we don't get information on things that affect our lives, like a relationship and marriages. So I feel that it is time that we take take time and learn about things before we go into them. You'll find a woman, you say he's with someone because that someone is tall and handsome and speaks nice English. Dark and handsome. So
Yeah,
so
I think
it's something else, because how do we get into that? How is that going to help you to build a home? How is that going to help you to build a house? I always say that if we can take marriage specifically like a business transaction. Why am I saying business transaction? I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about responsibilities and understanding who we are. If we can take our husband as, oh no, I'm not married, I'm a divorced. I'm divorced. I'm divorced and I had to learn all of these things, while I was out of the marriage. So I learned. So for now, it's 7 years that I've been single because I worked on myself and I started to study and understand. And another thing that I found it being very important is that as a human being, you yourself, you need to understand how does your mind work. The Bible says, may we be renewed in our mind. And most of the time you would say, how do I renew my mind? Where do I start? Because it's a big word that is not broken down where one can understand what they're talking about. But the renewal of the mind, for me, when I renewed my mind, I started to what do you call this thing? That one where you speak to yourself and you say, I'm beautiful, I'm worthy to be loved, I'm powerful.
yeah.
Yes, affirmations. Yes, I used to wake up and affirm those things. And I remember because there was just too many negativity that I carried from my marriage. And I had to affirm myself back to who I was, because if you don't understand who you are, you are lost. You become everybody. And the worst part is, in my marriage, I was really quiet down. Like he switched off my voice. I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a voice to speak, but through the grace of God, after I left the marriage, I started to have my voice back. I started to understand that I don't have a voice. That's why even when I speak with person that I'm trying to date, they can't understand what I'm saying, and other things, they are more spiritual than physical. Because I remember when I left my marriage, when I left my marriage, I felt like I was in the bottle and being locked in the bottle. And after the marriage, it was like the bottle is opened and I'm coming out. I'm like, hello, new world, I'm here, So it was something else. So I started to because yes, I was the cause, Venice. I was the cause. What happened on my side? I would be the one that would deny my husband intimacy. I wasn't the person that talks a lot, but I would run away when it's time for intimacy. I would pretend like I'm sleeping. They will come like stories, nje. And I would go an extra mile to just avoid him. And in time, as a person, he's a human being. He got tired that every time he needs to force me to be intimate, he needs to, all of those things. And then he found other girls, and then he started to have a first baby, second to the fifth baby, while we were married. And I was like, I found out later on that I was part of that. I was the cause. But when I was in the marriage, I didn't realize that I'm causing him to cheat on me, with my behavior and all that. And sometimes we as women, our words are really powerful, and we are the one that kills men most of the time. We take their low self-esteem down. We say things, we talk too much. We think that we understand things better. We think that we are angels because we are not cheating. The other one is the devil. You are the little angel there by the corner. So those are the things that really affect the marriage as well. And I've learned that once we can use the word of God as the go-to and the understanding on how we should go about with things, that's the only time we're going to get it right. If I'm going to look at my next door, how they have overcome their challenge or the challenges they are going through, I'm never going to understand what is a man, what is love, and men, they've got hormones as well. We need to learn about those hormones. Women, they've got hormones. We need to learn. There are women who don't even understand themselves to this very day. They find themselves being moody, not understanding why, So those are the kind of things that are very important, and they make up marriage and all that. And now, when you look at Proverbs 31, I'm going to refer a lot to the Bible because that's where my belief is. When you look at Proverbs 31, the Bible says that this woman, she wakes up very early in the morning. But first of all, before she wakes up, the husband trusts this woman with her heart, with all of his heart. He trusts this woman. So trust is very important in a relationship. And I always say that I don't want to be involved with a man who doesn't love me, because the Bible says husband must love their wives and the wife must submit. So as I submit, as he loves me, he's going to pour that love into me. And as he pour that love into me, I'm an incubator. I'm going to take that love, I'm going to multiply it, and I'm going to pour it back to him. So he will be pouring to me and I'll be pouring to him. And at the same time, when that takes place, you see, that's how the harmonious home comes about. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I have learned, but the way to go, it is the word of God. And coming to Proverbs 31, when this woman is in business, this woman, everything, the house is in order and all of that. But when you look at the first verse of Proverbs 31, there is a mother there that is talking to the son. He says, my son, be careful not to give your strength to those who can make kings fall. And wine is not for kings. So there are two things that a man must not. If you say you are a king, when it comes to wine and women, you need to be careful. Because kings, they don't take wine. Kings, they don't give their strength to women. So those are the things. So what we need is the mothers that will be there to teach their sons to say that this is how things should be and this is how things are, so that the son can understand how to treat a woman.
Yeah. So I think Brenda, what you are mentioning is a practical experience of the 4 steps I've been talking about. And I believe if any person was in doubt over why I emphasize the 4 steps in terms of people making sure that prior to them getting into a relationship, they actually look at these steps. I don't normally quote scriptures when I talk, but most of the stuff that I talk about actually comes from the Bible. Okay. So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that it is very, very critical to determine what your values are. Because a lot of you, when you determine what those values are, you are going to be able to know how you must define your life. And I gave a typical example last week. I said, some of you, if I say write your values, you might write 20 things, you might write 15 things, you might write 10 things. And if I allow you to evaluate those values based on how much time you allocate on each of them, you will be able to see that what you call values is not what you are putting your time and energy on. So that more than half the time you realize that you are not actually putting energy in the right place. Now, it means the things you wish for them to be your values are actually not your values, because you are not allocating the time to them. So that readjustment will require then a person to be able, and for those who are Christians, who need to redefine themselves based on what the standard of their lives should be, which is the word of God, it becomes easy for them to then go back and say, I need to redefine certain things that don't make sense in my life. And it becomes important to do so. Now, why am I saying this? I am saying this because a lot of people, You see, Brenda is talking about her being the problem in the relationship. And this is her honest observation of what has happened on hindsight. Now, in as much as a lot of people can say, yeah, why are you blaming all the women? Why are you blaming all the women? Look, that is her observation. And you might find that if some of you, even on this life, can begin to be honest with yourself, you might realize to have the same discovery. But let's turn this around to male people. Male people can also think men are a problem in the relationship as well. In a sense that there are certain things, when you are being honest as a male, you will realize that there are certain things about a male's upbringing that are instrumental in why some of the marriages are failing today. Some people, I was listening to someone talking the other time, and they were talking about the fact that the background or the history of this country and the fact that how people have been broken apart and how families were broken apart during the oppression era, whatever the case might be. Families were broken apart, which means it was very difficult for children to grow in families that would, raise them up in a way that they would become what they need to become in life, which obviously would create big problems in the future for what we would call a black generation. So today you have a bunch of young people, midlife crises. You find people who are older, 40 and 50, that still want to live as if they are 20. And there's just confusion. You don't know who's young, who's old anymore. It's like, if you can't see gray hair, if you can't see anything that says a person is old, you can't really tell that they are old or not. So that confusion on its own creates a lot of issues. And that is why it becomes critical. And that fear that people have now, you find that people are afraid to be in relationships, people are afraid to date, they're afraid to do this and do that. Many a times it's created by the fact that we have not dealt with self. We have not dealt with self. We have not taken the time to deal with who we are and some of the challenges we need to deal with. And for those of you who are following us, who have started following us, thank you so much. I see a lot of you that have followed us. I couldn't comment because I was still listening to the story. So forgive me for those of you who have come, who have shared the life. I see Lumkai as well. Thank you guys for following us and for liking the live. Much appreciated. But what I'm trying to get to is for you guys to understand, why is it that I emphasize these 4 stages? First, before you start with the stages, determine what your values are. Do that list. Take 1 page. On the left-hand side, write the list of your values. On the right-hand side, you are going to write, if you've got 10 values, you will write 1 to 10. And then you will allocate those values based on what you think is a priority to you. So you will prioritize them and say, this is the most important, and you put them by order of importance. After that, what you do is you check which ones are you allocating more time than the others. You will realize that what you thought was priority is not necessarily priority, because priority of values is based on how much time you allocate to those. Some people say they love God. For me, religion is my value. My Christianity is my value. Okay, how much time do you allocate to your Christian values? How much time do you allocate to anything Christian for that matter? Some people only allocate reading the Bible or even pray when they are at church on Sunday, which some of them, they prefer. They will even complain and say, my church is 1 hour. That's good. I'm happy with that. I don't want a church that lasts 3 to 4 hours. And yet you claim that is your value. But you can't even allocate 3 hours in a week. In the whole week, you can't even allocate 3 hours. But that's your value. You are playing. That is not your value. You wish for it to be your value, but it is not your value. Because when you look at the 24-hour day, the amount of time you allocate to that thing in a 24-hour day, it's next to nothing. So why are you calling it a value when it's not allocated the time that it needs to have? So that's how we then evaluate values. And to say, ultimately, when you have looked at, now you will do a readjustment and says, yes, I see the ones that I'm allocating more time, but I'm not happy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These ones, I want them out, but I want 1, 2, 3 to go in there, which means in your schedule on a day-to-day basis, you now need to begin to allocate time to those things that you wish for them to be values that define who you are as a person. That will affect the way you think. It will begin to affect the way you act. It will begin to affect your feelings and emotions. Even for ladies, Brenda is talking about women having emotions and hormones and this. That stuff can be controlled. That stuff can be controlled, even for women. We should not condone things that we know are terrorizing us as human beings, and we think we are helpless in the hands of those things. It's not fair. We are not being fair on ourselves to let go and say, yeah, we've got hormones. You know, when that time of the month comes, I am just a mess in life, and this, and that. There are things you can do to manage it. Even men have cycles that they go through. They have cycles that they go through of emotions, whereby men will go through certain things, but because men keep quiet most of the time and they don't express those emotions, it looks as if they are not going through it. But men go through those things too. There are times in your working career as a man where you work, and you will sit down and say, why am I even doing this? Should I even continue working like this? Are these people that I'm working for even appreciative to me as a person? And you begin to have attitude towards people. You begin to have attitude towards the people you are taking care of, because you feel they are ungrateful. You feel they don't acknowledge you the way they should. You feel like you are the breadwinner. You are doing everything for everyone, but no one is doing anything for you. And some of you will even see it on your birthdays as a working woman, or you are a single mother or whatever. You will see it on your birthday. When it's your birthday, they can't even buy you a decent something. But when it's their birthday, they expect these big things for you to do for them. And you sit there on your own. You sit there on your own and you begin to realize, no, this can't be. And you will go through that as a man, or you will go through that as a woman. Ultimately, you find yourself in a space where you become bitter. You go through these emotions, and you find a lot of men, when they're in their homes, they are not happy. They are only happy in the streets. They are not happy when they are home. They are always angry. They don't even allow the kids to sit on their lap. Hey, you make me dirty. Stop playing on top of me. Go and play with your siblings, or whatever the case might be. And it's important for us to understand this. So yes, we can sit now and I can tell you what men are going through, and you will feel like, ooh, Mara, women are just not right in life. But I can also tell you what women are going through, and you will feel, ooh, but men are just not right in life. What does this teach us? What this teaches us is that everyone has their fair share of things to go through. We have a fair share of things to go through. Now, for those of you who are going to enter a talking stage with a potential partner, who are going to enter into a talking stage with a person that you think you might potentially end up with. Mimi, thank you so much for the flowers. Much appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for those who are continuing to like the live. I'm going to start reading your comments as well. My apologies. You'll forgive me. Now, as I'm continuing, understand this as something that defines who you are as a person. Whether you like it or not, your values dictate to you who you will become as a person. They dictate to you who you become as a person. And it's important to realize this, so that you don't take for granted some of the things that you need to accommodate as a person and begin to understand. You need to understand yourself and know what makes you tick, what makes you angry, what makes you sad, so that you can consistently maintain a healthy attitude in life by avoiding the things you know they bring or create negative energy in your life. And there is nothing wrong with you protecting yourself to a level where you know how to avoid those things. And married people are the biggest ones that need to master this art. Because it's easy to stay happy with a partner when you are not living together. You are dating. You only meet as per schedule. And that is why you will see a lot of relationships, when people start spending a lot more time together, it's then they realize that this is not working out. I don't like this person as much as I thought I would. I don't want to be around this person as much. And they start coming up with excuses of not seeing each other. I am busy. I have a long day. I have this, I have that. I have this and I have that. And it's important. Mimi says true. Bernice says values determine who you become as a person, both genders. Very, very important. Mpo says so true. People don't want to grow up. Star Girl says said truth. Bernice says I understand this. That's Brenda saying this to Bernice. Mimi says profound. Now, it's important for you to understand this, guys, because it's going to help you as a person to maintain the person that you claim you are. But if you let emotions creep into every single thing that you do, you will find yourself in trouble all the time. You will find yourself in big trouble all the time, because you will even end up having emotions that you yourself can't even explain what you are going through. And you want to explain by saying, no, but I'm a woman, or no, but I'm a man. That is not a good enough excuse. You need to know yourself better. Tahisi says, why don't we have relationship subject at school? It's because relationships are hard to explain. Everyone who tries to talk relationships, they will talk relationships from their perspectives. The same thing I'm doing. Another person might be listening to me and say, you are not even covering half of the things you should cover. Because this is a big subject. It's a big subject. It's not something you cover over one session, 2 or 3 sessions. It requires more. And it has to be something that you build, stage by stage. Mengi, thank you so much for following us. Much appreciated. You understand what I'm saying? It's important. It's important. Even if government were to want to build a subject like that, how are we even going to build it? It's a complex subject. It's a complex subject. And it requires people to take it. It's like how you eat an elephant, piece by piece. You don't try to take the biggest chunk out of an elephant and think you're going to finish. You eat it piece by piece. Coach T, to me, Vice, thank you for following us. Much appreciated. Leah Lee, thank you so much for following us. Much appreciated. Bettinia says life, heartbreak. Life is like that, my sister. But it requires people to invest in it. Invest in yourself so that you are able to get a lot more from what life has to offer. You get so much from life if you invest in yourself. Life will reward you. God has created the life system to be like that. The life system is created to have rewards. It is created to have repercussions. Rewards and repercussions. That's part of the life system. It's created to be like that. Benice says, oh, Brenda, thank you so much for following us. I thought you were already following me. Thank you so much for following us. Benice says, I've learned that what I think I know, I might be a bit limited. A teachable spirit is all I need. Very important. Funi, thank you so much for following us. Madala, thank you for following us. User Makambali, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. So what am I trying to say to you guys? I've tried to cover as much as I could, but I think, the first question that was asked, I feel bad that we now don't have a lot of time to ask. I can't remember who asked the first question. The first question that was asked, can you repost the question again? The very, very first question that I said I'll get back to. I still have 30 minutes to cover it. I want to cover it. Question marks has followed us as well. Thank you so much for following us. Benicia says, thank you so much. I am going back to therapy. Go back. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. And to add to that therapy, start going to church as well. Find yourself a good church that's going to build you up spiritually. Remember, for me, when I talk about investing in yourself, I talk about investing in yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically. Sometimes it might require as well for you to start exercising. It changes your attitude as a person. It changes your attitude. Thank you, user Makambali. Thank you so much for the comment. I appreciate it so very much. Stargirl says, however, the teacher will appear when the student is ready. Lumka says, why you are not a pastor, Tata? I am a pastor, my dear. I am a pastor indeed. That's why you'll hear people calling me man of God. I am a pastor indeed, but I don't want to put my pastorship ahead of everything else. Here, we are dealing with issues, and I want to make sure that you understand life. I want you to understand life, and I want you to ask questions without you worrying about statuses and any of those things. Here, we are here to talk. Here we are here to talk. So let's talk. Very, very important. And Precious says at Lumka, he is a pastor, pastoring in Hotazel, a very good teacher. Who's Precious? Precious, you're exposing me. Who are you? You seem to know me very well. Maybe you have sat and listened to me speak. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say to you guys is that it is very clear. Please, guys, the person that asked the question in the beginning, I am very sorry. The comments have passed, and I can't get to that question anymore because it cuts off the comments once they pass a certain number. So I can't go back to the very, very first question that was asked. I really want to answer it. I have 30 minutes. Please do repost the question. I would like to answer and attempt to it. Please, I beg. So it's important for us to get into a space where we understand that we need to realize that it is important to put yourself in a space where you understand yourself and you know yourself and you've invested in yourself. Know yourself spiritually. Why am I even here on earth? Why am I even here? What is the significance spiritually for me to be on earth? And that means you need to understand who your maker is. You need to understand the purpose that he has given you. You need to understand the giftings that he has put into your life. And I deal with this in my book. When I talk about the spiritual side, if you understand the spiritual side, you need to realize that you are a spirit. You were created a spirit. You have a soul and you live in a body. That's why a lot of things that happen on earth you will find that there is a large percentage of things happening on earth that cannot be explained by human wisdom. They can only be explained by wisdom that comes from spiritual things, spiritual wisdom. Because if you want, for an example, the power of money, you cannot even explain the power of money through natural understanding of you seeing people and what money does to people. You will have to go spiritual for you to know how money works, for you to understand how money. That's why a lot of them don't have it, Because they do not understand the spirituality around money. Why? Most of them run from God anyways. And for those who are even in church, they don't want to take the time to understand it. They just believe that certain things must just happen on their own. They must just, if I pray and pray and pray, money will just come. No, there is a mind shift that needs to happen. There is a shift that needs to happen in how you perceive life, in how you see things. And it's important. It's really, really important for you to get to a space where you realize that. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because you realizing that you are a tripartite human being. You are a tripartite human being. You have a spirit. You are a spirit because you are born of a spirit. That spirit is called God, the Almighty Creator. He has created you and you are like Him. Genesis 1, He says, in the image and the likeness He created them, male and female, created He them. Huh? Nasji, thank you for following us. Much appreciated. I see as well, there's someone that followed us that I didn't see. Forgive me. Let me just continue. For those of you who are following us, Matibe, thank you for following us. You are much appreciated. Very, very important. Now, what am I trying to say, guys? What I'm trying to say is that begin to realize that those are aspects of you that are important that you need to realize. And when you have fortified yourself, when you have built yourself up spiritually as a person, when you have built yourself up spiritually, where you begin to understand the spiritual side of your existence on earth, you will know that you are a spiritual person who has come on earth to have a human experience. You have come on earth to have a human experience. Are you here permanently? Of course not. That's why we have funerals every weekend. But what does that mean? Does that mean we are here to live and do as we please and then die one day and go away? Of course, that is not purposeful. Now, you need to understand the purpose behind that and say, what is my purpose as a person? Why am I here? Ntebu Melo, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. Understand that purpose. And then when you know that purpose, you have understood the most important aspect of who you are as a person, being a spirit. You have understood the most important aspect. Being a spirit. Thank you, Benis. Thank you, Nguye Faith. Much appreciated. The person I've asked to repost their question, they are not reposting it. So I'm just going to continue. I'm just going to continue on this line. Now, it's important. Very, very critical. Very, very important. This is why I've given you the 4 stages. At that time when you decide the values, Benis, thank you for the roses. Much appreciated. As you decide what your values are, you begin to realize as a person to say, oh, this is what influences my decisions. This is what influences the way I do things. This is what influences what I do. This is what influences the way I think. And you realize that the way you think, some of us, the way we think, is because we do not accept the truth of what we are learning. You see, you can learn or sit under some of the greatest teachers in the world, and they can teach you. If you do not accept the truth behind the teaching you are receiving, your mind does not change. Your mind does not change. It remains the same. It remains exactly the same. That's why you will find a person, they have been in church for the past 10 years. But in essence, if you look at their lives, nothing is changing much. And you ask yourself a question, how is it possible that you sit under a person that can teach so well, and yet you remain the same, and there's just slight changes in your life? The question is, are they accepting the truth of what they are being taught? And are they applying it in their lives or not? Spirituality is very practical. Being spiritual is very practical. This is why we call it being Christian, which means being Christ-like, meaning you are imitating a person who did it, lived on earth and did it in front of people that he lived with at that time. And there's record of it for us to know. Eyewitnesses that were there. There's no question of whether it happened or not, because there's evidence of it having happened. We see it. But what does that mean? What are we learning from that life? What are we realizing from that life? That a person can have a greater purpose in life. This man expressed his purpose in 3.5 years, and he shook the whole world. 3.5 years. 3.5 years. He went out to preach. He shook the whole world in 3.5 years. Even today, we still know he's one of the most, in fact, he is the most powerful figure in all of history. He's the most powerful figure in all of history. If you want to find any big platforms of debate or arguments today, in this day and age, is Christianity. Everyone is fighting about Christ. Why? He shook the world more than the rest of these other people. You can quote them. You will realize that this man shook the world. He really shook the world. Frank Scott, thank you so much for following us, Frank Scott. You are much appreciated. Church doesn't change people, faith does. Yeah, church doesn't change people, faith does, but it's important to be in a church because church is the environment, and environment is important to a person changing. You can take a person who's a tsotsi and put them among good people. I'm telling you, after some time, that person would have learned good manners. After some time, that person will learn not to steal. After some time, that person will change their act and they'll begin to act right. And take a good person and put them among bad people. They try to be good and they experience bad all the time. Bad this, bad that, bad this. I'm telling you, their values will be readjusted based on their environment. So the environment is important. The environment is important. You will hear people saying, no, it's my faith that matters. And they are sitting at Groove every weekend. I am telling you, Groove will influence your decisions. Groove will influence the way you think. Groove will influence how you spend your money. Groove will influence everything that you do because that's the environment you are in. You can't say you have faith in God. I told you about values. Faith in God, and yet you give God 5 hours per week. And you say, he is a value. He's one of my most important. He's not. He's not. That's why when people come to me and they say, I love God so much, I love God so much. And I'll ask them, if collectively per week, you were to put together how much time you spend in the house of God, how much time you read your Bible, how much time you pray, how many hours per week do you spend with the one you say you love? You will be shocked. Some people have not even been through a church door in more than years. In fact, in years. And if you ask them, they will tell you how much they love God. And they will want to claim that I love God even if I'm not going to church. I left church and not God. The biggest nonsense on earth. It's the biggest nonsense on earth. You can't tell me you leave your matrimonial home and go live somewhere and claim you are still married. Guys, what am I trying to say, guys? I'm trying to say your life must be understood from these 3 aspects. Your soul, your spirit, and your body. You need to invest in your spirit. You need to invest in your spirit as a person. Smart, thank you so much for following us. Pablo says environment is certainly very vital. Very vital. Very vital. And some of you need to be in a church environment where there's good music being sung. Not my piano and eyes doing this all the time. You need to hear good music that talks about hope. Music that, because your brain is so degraded. You find it hard. You can listen to 10 different motivational messages and it is still hard to motivate a person like you because you're so far removed. Guya says, how do you recover from fear of relationships after heartbreak? You recover by discovering yourself. Do the first 2 stages that I've given you. You will realize that fear was not there to start with. It was just a concern because you did not realize that even the heartbreaks you had previously, you had a hand in them. You are still blaming. Therefore, you are afraid because you think you are the clean one and they are wrong. That's the problem. That is it. But when you realize that you had a role to play, you were part of the players in that team when it lost. When that team lost, you were part of the players. You will realize that it's not just that I have nothing to fear because I was part of the problem when the problem happened. Very, very important. Salima says, Mashoni Kimi on that one, not allocating enough time to God. You are feeling ashamed. Allocate enough time. No need has followed us. Thank you so much. Nguye says, Faith asked that question again. Was it Faith? Nguye Faith. Yes, Nguye Faith is the one that asked the first question. Please ask it again. I want to touch on that question. Don't be mad that I took long to get to it. I've done my healing and took accountability as well. And then Pale says, I was never ready for that sharp truth. It's important, guys. Very, very important. And people should not come here and claim things. We need to be real. You can't tell me you are working. No, I'm employed, I am working. But I work from home the whole time. There's no company that will employ you and you are working from home and it's actually a decent, proper job that pays you well. No. Except if it's online nowadays with this cyberspace and people doing things inside. More than half the time, you need to show up on a day-to-day basis. You need to show up. We need to physically see your contribution. We need to see the impact you are bringing to the company. We need to see the value you are adding into the company. That's how it works. That's how it works. So we can also say we love God, we appreciate God, and yet when you look at what is it that we are contributing? What is it that we are bringing to the table where God is concerned? Am I playing my part? Am I pulling my weight? Am I praying? Am I reading the Bible? Am I going to church? Or am I just sitting saying, no, I'm doing it from home. I'm just watching preaching on TV. It's the same as saying you are dating a person, but you only talk on video. You never meet. You are only talking on WhatsApp video, or you are talking on what you call it, FaceTime. And it's very, very critical to understand that. It's very, very critical to understand that. Mpo says since COVID, still working from home. Those are special cases. Those are abnormal cases, actually, to put it properly. Abnormal cases. It's not meant to be like that. I'm talking in a real life situation where all things being equal, all things being normal. What does it mean? You ask yourself those questions. Some of you might need to go back to church because you are angry at God because of what someone else did in the church. Are you there for them? They hurt you at church. Were you there for them, or were you there for God? If you go visit your girlfriend and one of the brothers does not speak well when you are at that house, are you going to stop going to come check on your girlfriend? Are you going to stop coming to check on your boyfriend if one of the siblings, the ladies, the sisters speak bad towards you when you come to visit? You continue because you know why you are there. Why are we not stopping buying cars when people are getting into accidents? We are not. Why? Because we believe that if it's me that's driving, I'm going to be careful and I will not have an accident. But when it comes to God, we are very quick to say, I am leaving this church. That's why you will see so much. People have opinion. People that have not even been to church for 10 years, they have opinion about church and God. They have opinion about men of God, women of God. They have opinion about Christians and their foolishness. They have not even been to church in 10 years. They think they have an opinion that matters. It's very sad that human beings cannot find themselves in a space where we introspect and say, I speak. What about me? I have an opinion. What about me? What about me? What about me? Coach T says, in simple word, you need to pray because difela katapel. Brenda says, yes, sir. Nguye says, I've done my healing and took back my accountability. Pale says, I was never ready for this truth. Nathan says, Brenda, seen my request. Okay, you guys are talking to each other. Mpoma says, since COVID, I'm still at home. Yeah, special cases, like I've mentioned. Coach says, sacrifice your time for God and your time will be valuable. Sacrifice your time for God. Why is it important to sacrifice your time for God? It's those things that you gain when you spend time with God. Reading your own Bible, reading and just gaining and learning about yourself, where you are not going to be offended because you are, encountering the harsh truths about how you are irresponsible, or the harsh truths about how you are inconsistent, or the harsh truths about how lazy you are. You are not going to be offended because it's you, God, and your Bible. You're not going to get offended. You're not going to get angry. But if that happens in a church, you might even say, they are preaching about me, these ones. So it's important for you, when you do these things alone, you will have a teachable spirit. You will develop a teachable spirit, so that even if you are sitting at church and they preach something that hits home, you take it with humility because you realize God is still talking to you. God is still talking to you. Today, if you say anything about anything that people are doing that is not supposed to be the way it's up, people will then say, yeah, you are busy. What about you? They want to come and investigate you and check because every single time when we are confronted with the truth, we want to prove that whoever brought the truth is not worthy to bring the truth to us. Shocking reality of life. Nana says, needed to hear this. I came at the right time. Thank you, Lord. Brenda says, when you make God your business, he will make you his business. Very important. That's what Jesus says, actually. That's what Jesus says. He says, I and the Father will come, will manifest. If you make our business yours, he says, me and the Father, not just me and the Father will come and we will manifest ourselves in you. That's how important it is. No, Meita says, I am guilty. I was going as and when, but when I read Proverbs 3 and commandments, keep the Sabbath and day holy, you are convicted. Go back to church. Go back to church, my sister. You've got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Everything to gain. Macy has followed us. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. User 29 has also followed us. Matsileng, thank you so much for the gift. Much appreciated for the gifts. Paul says, you're so truthful. Brenda says, women talks too much and don't choose their battles. You see, people talk and they talk. Sometimes they don't even, they talk. Hey, people can talk. Oh, Hey, people can talk, even when they're in trouble, where they're supposed to just be quiet, because this thing is not going to end well for them. They still talk. Coach T says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. That's Jesus himself. Definitely the man himself. Now, we are going to wrap up now. We are going to wrap up. I want you to get into a space where you realize that your life is not only what you see. And if you think that your life is only what you see with your eyes, life will become very frustrating to you. Life will become very challenging to you. In fact, life will become very irritating to you, because you are always going to find yourself in a space where there are certain things that do not make sense, and you end up being frustrated with God. You will end up being frustrated with God. A lot of people today are frustrated, they are offended, they are angry with God. For one, why is that so? That is so because even themselves, they don't have a relationship with God. They don't have a relationship with God. They don't have a relationship with God. Thank you so much, Benis, for the comment. Much appreciated. Joshua Prince, thank you for following us. You are appreciated. Miss M Guest House has also followed us. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Brenda says, as long as you are still Mbogoto, you don't go near relationships and marriages. It's very important because it talks to submission. Submission, very important, which is obviously a conversation for married people. But I think that is one of the subjects that are very critical. Didi says, why is it important to curate the environment you stay? Why is it important to curate the environment you stay in? It's also important because, you know, some people, their energy is not utilized appropriately because they don't clean their houses. The house looks dirty most of the time. It's depressed, it's all cluttered, it's never clean, fresh, and open. Even in their thinking, even their thoughts, they represent the environment they stay in. Their thoughts are always jumbled up, always cluttered, because that's the environment they are in. That's the environment they are in. And it's important to always make sure that that environment becomes what you actually want to represent, even in your mind. Be in environment, and not just the things you have in the house, furnitures and whatnot, but also the people you live with. The people you live with. Be in environments that are good. Some of you live alone, but you are always leaving your house, going into environments that are not healthy for you. You come back from those environments, you are completely drained, emotionally, physically, and spiritually drained, because you went to the wrong environment. Guys, let's learn this. Let's learn this. You have no business trying to put yourself under necessary pressure by trying to use your presence to make other people happy. Let your presence be scarce. Let your presence be scarce. Let people desire to be around you. Let people desire and say, where have you been? You are hiding yourself. We can't see you anymore. Let it be so. And only allow a handful. For an example, I've got a lot of people that I know. But truth be told, there's only 5 people that access my life directly like this. Only 5 people. And there is a reason why each of them is in my life that close. Only 5 people. The rest is people that I know. People that is why some of you will complain even on social media that I've got so many friends. But when I'm in trouble, no one is there to help me. It's because you've got too many friends. You've got too many people. Some of them are not even real friends. They're not even genuine. You have not even evaluated their intentions in your life. Hey, Ni, thank you so much for following us. Thank you so much. You are appreciated. LT Kitchens Midrand, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. You are much appreciated. And it's important. And it's important. This is one of the reasons why I think Coolest Essay says young people dealing with depression and mental health. It has everything to do with the platforms, environment. They're always on social media. They get all these pressures from people who are lying about who they are. Soft life that does not exist. Monies that are not even there. Some of you will be shocked if you knew the people that you see on social media. If you knew them personally, you would be embarrassed in yourself why you had chest pains because of their lives. But because you don't know them, you see what you see on social media and you think everything that's been posted is true. Some people post beautiful pictures of themselves. In a month, 20 days of their month, they are a mess. They are only okay in 5 days of that 20 days. They are only good in 5 days. The rest of the 15 days is a mess. You will never know it because they will never post the mess. They will only post the good stuff. Hello, life. Hello, joy. Hello, this. Hello, that. And they are posting these nice things. And here you are sitting and thinking, oh God, why are other people so happy? That's why some prayers God does not even bother to answer. Because you're praying about a situation where God knows the truth of that situation. God knows that that person is worse than you. Here you are crying to want to be like them when they are worse than you. But because you don't know, you see what you see on social media, you believe they are doing well. You think they are doing well. And that is the saddest thing. Lillian Mom, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. Coach T, I see you are quoting a very powerful scripture where God says, I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I will strengthen you. And this goes for the young people as well. They must learn to find God in their young ages. They must learn to find God in their young ages. Very, very important. Blue, thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. Nomita says they are broke. Well, whether broke or not, that should not actually even make you... You shouldn't feel like your life is falling apart because you broke. How is it that money can define who you are? How is it? How is that even possible? Money defining who you are as a person. When you need to define the function of money in your life, money is defining you. Maybe that's why some of us, money is running away from people. Because money is defining them. And they're not defining the function of the money in their lives. Imagine money dictating your emotions. I normally see women post sometimes when they go through that time of the month and they post the remedies of that time of the month. Sweets, sugary things, treats and this, and then boom, bam, there's a roll of money there. And I'm thinking, okay, so that can actually reduce the pain and fix the moods. Just that roll. Then we have a serious problem. We have a serious problem. Money doesn't have any value except the value we give it. Even today, the currencies that we see in the markets, if you understood how they work, you would know that the currency as it is, the strength of that currency is determined by powerful people in this world. They know how to make moves to affect, reduce, increase stock, do this, do that. Another person was asking me the other time, why does South Africa not have a sovereign fund? Why doesn't it have a sovereign fund? It's a problem to have a sovereign fund because that sovereign fund determines a lot of things in a country. It determines a lot of things in the country. We've got a fund that is acting as if it's a sovereign fund. Now, the problem is that that fund, because it's carrying all the government pension, it's called PIC. It's got all the government pensions. All these other entities like IDC, all of them, they're getting money from that same fund for them to be able to do stuff. When that fund does moves, those moves have the ability to affect the price of things. Now, though it has advantages for future generations to say we've got money to invest, we've got money to grow as a country, but it also has an impact. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say to you, that people who have a lot of influence in the world have the ability to affect how things move. And here you are sitting and saying money is affecting your moods, when someone else sitting somewhere can affect the value of that money. And you are accepting that that money must dictate who you are. It must define who you are. Come on, guys. We can't really be that shallow, eh? We can't really be that shallow. That Zippo says, can you please touch on psychology of money next week? Yeah, you must say it earlier when I start. Then I'll touch on the psychology of money. Very important. And it's actually one verse in the Bible that touches the psychology of money. I love it. I love it. And then Brenda says, money doesn't have value, but relationships with people. That's where value is. Powerful. These are the things that define who we are. Values, not material, not substance. Value. Not material, not substance, but value. Didi says, I think that our identity is what can push or attract money because our beliefs around them. Look, I'm not going to comment on that right now because it will force me to go into that topic that is suggested, which I don't want to discuss right now. Limpo says, I always say material means nothing. We're going into this earth. We are going in this earth. We are going. I don't know a single person that was buried with their monies and that money disappeared with them as their body was decomposing in the grave. No, it stayed there. In fact, it attracted crooks that dug the hole and took everything, left the tomb open. They took the treasures and left. That's how people in the past used to be buried. They would be buried with their own treasures, and people would raid those tombs. People would raid those tombs. That's why even today you read about some of the biggest icons in history that had money that were buried in luxurious tombs. We can't even find those tombs today. We don't know where they are. We're hoping that they were in certain places. We still can't find them. One of them is Alexander the Great. No one knows where his tomb is. We are assuming that we think we know. It might be in Egypt, in Alexandria. We don't know. But because he was buried with treasures, the likelihood is that they were looted. Can't take those things with you. Can't take those nice shoes that are dictating your feelings and your emotions. When you die, your siblings, your cousins, they are going to loot that bedroom. They are going to loot it. That money in your account, they will go to the bank and produce that certificate. The bank will give them access to the money. It's gone. That car that you didn't even want them to step into unless they take off their shoes, they are going to drive it with gumboots. They will drive that car with gumboots. The unfortunate part is you won't even see any of it. We will see because we know. The ones who are left behind will see and say, hey, the owner of this car is turning in their grave. They are not turning in their grave because they can't see anything. It's finished. It's finished. So the things you value that you think are so important to you that you can't live life without them, that this and that you can't do, you will realize as time goes that those things, you will not go anywhere with them. Material, that big house that you want people to take off their shoes, that you want people to you put a cloth on the couch before they sit on it. I'm telling you, the day you are gone, people are going to sit on those couches barefoot with feet that have been in the mud outside. They won't value them as much as you value them. The question is, why are you valuing them? Why are you valuing them? Why is shopping making you feel good about yourself? I told you last week, I said, you can allow it to make you feel good if it's a reward for something good that you have done where your values are concerned. You can allow it to influence you that way, provided you are rewarding yourself for doing something great towards value add, towards personal growth. But if there's nothing like that in your life, it's terrible. I always say material means nothing. Very important, guys, for us to realize that there are certain things that we should not hold at high esteem. Today, what you see in social media, material. Social media is built on material. That's why I was encouraging some of you who joined this live. Be part of the group that's sharing substance and value, just like I'm doing. Open up your page as well and do exactly the same thing. Imagine if 20% of TikTokers were sharing value. Imagine what that will do to how TikTok looks like, how it feels. The TikTok experience would be different. When a person opens TikTok, all they find is value, 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 value. Imagine what that will do to young people, what that would do to the teenagers, to the young adults, what it would do to single people who want to get into marriages. When you people, thank you for Mihadi for the hat, I love it so much. Thank you so much. What that will do to different people who need this kind of information. Thank you, Kinosi, for the flowers. Much appreciated. I love gifts. Thank you so much. Now, this is important. This is important. It's important, very, very important. And Coach T says, oh yeah, Brenda, referring to what Brenda is saying. And then Coach Benis says, Coach, you are able to accurately use the Bible in context for everyone. To God be the glory. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very, very important. Very, very important for us to realize. There are certain things we need to accept and realize. Tandi, thank you so much for following us. You are appreciated. So much appreciated. And then Nonimta says, so true. That time we invest somewhere and forget tithe. As a pastor, I will recuse myself from talking about tithe at this point in time, lest I compromise myself. So let me not talk. I'll talk about tithe in my church. If you want to hear about tithe, come to the church. I'll talk about it there. Blue says, can't need. Limpo is laughing. So true, Miss Pretty. King Strike says, can we live without material? To some extent you can't. You need material to mobilize certain things in life, but material should not be at the top of your priority list. That's what I'm trying to say. They can't be at the top of your priority list, because there are things you will have and things you can't have. Have peace with that. You will have, you will not have. There are things you can attain, things you can't attain. That's what it is, material. You can have, not have. The clothes you had 10 years ago, they are not there anymore. They are not there anymore. Maybe you've given them away. Maybe you've even thrown them away. Because that's how life is where material things are concerned. You gain some, you win some, you lose some. You gain things, you relinquish some of them. Some of you owned houses 5-10 years ago. You've sold those houses to build another house. Or you've used that house as collateral in a business deal that didn't go well, that house was taken. Those things should not make you feel otherwise. It's material. What you lose, you can gain again. Nathan says, money has no identity. It obtains its identity from the user. Important. This is exactly what I was saying. Including all other material things. They need to get their identity from you. It's like a shoe when you wear it. After you wear it for a month, it takes the shape of your foot. It doesn't remain in the same state that it was in when you bought it. That's how everything else in your life should be. It must take the shape of your spirit. It must reflect who you are as a person. Are you with me, people of God? I'm going to close now. I'm about to close. We as women are the managers of our homes. Some we need to gain skill in finances so we can invest money. Very, very important. Very, very important. So that your men can also trust you. To say, this woman is so good with money. Even in the business, when things are not going the way they should go, I can trust this woman to come up with solutions. How many men do you know today that can trust their women to that level, even where their businesses are concerned? We can do better, guys. Way, way, way better. Way, way, way better. And I know sometimes it's the men's fault for not trusting them because they just don't want a woman involved in those kind of things. But it's important to be with a life partner that is able to trust you with critical things. So if you allow money to define you, trust me, it won't stay with you. Very important. I always say to people, when you are brainless, money will give you brainless advices. It will teach you how to lose it quick. It will advise you how to lose it quick. You'll have 10 million and lose it quick. That's why you have I blew it. Because it gets there, it reaches a brainless person, and then it gives brainless advice. Buy 10 cars. You don't even have a driver's license. You are using other people's licenses to buy cars. What is the point? Money will teach you serious lessons in life. Nathan says it's Nate here using a different account. Good to see you. Nate, I see you are using a different account because that's not what I'm normally seeing. Miss Pretty, thank you so much for the gift. DED says the person is the person is a multiplier. Give him a pen. He will make stories. A mic, he can sing. All right, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. There is Mish. Thank you so much for following us. You are much appreciated. You are much appreciated. Thank you so much. I can't read all the comments, guys. There is a lot. Brenda says, whatsoever you hold to yourself, you shall lose it. But whatever you lose for my name, you shall gain it. Very, very important principle. Very, very important principle that says don't hang on to material things. Learn to realize that that's what they are, material. They come and go. Miss Pretty, thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate those who are gifting me. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you so very much. We're Faith says, learned so much tonight. This was very insightful. Blue says, but do you think people at different times feel peer pressure to get materially? Yeah, they do. And social media is not helping. Thank you, Bernice, for the flowers. Much appreciated. Social media is not helping. It's making things worse because it's making people more materialistic. It's making people more material-minded. More material-minded. And how do you know it's material-minded? They go to the same restaurant, all of them. When they get to the restaurant, they do the same thing that they saw others do on their pages. They go to the same sites. They do exactly what they take the same type of pictures. They take how banna. So are you saying that even if you visit Cape Town, it has to be a reflection of what someone else did when they were in Cape Town? Guys, come on. Like, honestly speaking, where is you in all of that? In that holiday that you have gone to, where is you? Where is you? That is why sometimes you must just choose not to post some of these things so that you can enjoy yourself. It's like, for an example, when the president of the country shows up and is greeting people, you will find other people, they're not even focusing on him. They are just recording him. Today, a person can experience a crime. Instead of people helping, they will record. Because to them, capturing content is far more important than living the life of the content. They would rather capture the content than to enjoy the experience. You go sightseeing with people, when they get to a lovely, beautiful mountain, they don't even take time to absorb the scenery. No, they video it. They video it. They don't even take time. They video it. And you sit there and you think to yourself, you are in such a beautiful place. And all you do is record. You don't even put a phone for 5 minutes and just enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the atmosphere. Enjoy the... We are losing so much because of social media content. Even a church, people record. A church. We are experiencing the power of God at church. People are recording with their phones. People are in the spirit praying. You find a person with a phone going around. And not because it's what they are tasked to do in the church. There are people who are tasked to do certain things. They're not even tasked to record. They are independent freelancers that are recording things in the church, missing the experience at the same time. I'm grateful that you are learning a lot, guys. I'm closing now. I am seriously closing. I won't be able to read the rest of the comments. SA time, we are closing. Recording era. Yeah, Benny says it's a recording era. It's bad. Nandi says, my husband is always complaining when I take pics and videos. Yeah, it's because he's probably one of those people that want to savor the... And it's like you can take people to a holiday and they will enjoy watching the pictures of the holiday. But if you sit with them and tell me about the holiday, they will just say it was nice, I enjoyed it. And you can even tell that they were not really connected to the environment they visited. Because they have very little to say about that, but a lot more to say about what they captured in the pictures and the videos. It was nice. Come, let me show you on my phone. I don't want to see pictures. I want you to tell me your experience. They don't have an experience. You were at church. You don't even have an experience. Because you were there focusing on other things. You went somewhere on holiday. You don't even have the experience because you went there to go capture, record, take pictures. It's even the food. Okay, you ate the food. You took a picture of the food and you posted it on your page. How was the food? No, it was nice. So there was no experience. The taste, the flavors. You don't even enjoy how the food was. Did you even read on the menu what is it that they used to make this thing? What is the meal? What is it called? Some don't even know the name of the meal that they took a picture and posted it. They don't know the meal because they failed to connect with the experience. They failed to connect with the experience. Take the time to connect. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the experience. The recording can happen whenever. You can get videos online of the same thing and say, I was there and this is what I experienced. Take a few pictures of yourself, maybe if you want content. No, Nimta says I was there capturing the good life. Now I'm doors, money gone. I'm indoors, money gone. You see? Tandega, thank you for sharing the live. You are much appreciated. Guys, I'm closing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. You can say your goodbyes. I will read them as we close. Lumka says, I'm learning today. No more me recording at church. You are recording at church. My assumption is that at church, people record. Unless if you are in a church where people don't record. Or you are there to record because maybe in the group of the church, you normally share videos there. You know, there's different reasons, but you can't just record everything. Like everywhere where you are, when you must record, the first thing you think when something happens is, where's my phone? Hi. You won't even capture the detail of what has happened. Because a video cannot capture what your eyes can see. Your eye is multidimensional. It's not 3D like your phone. Your eye is multidimensional. So you take more with your eyes than you can ever take. Another person was asking me to say, but you say you've met so many important people. Where are the pictures? I said, but why must I take pictures? If I meet the president, why must I take a picture? I want to savor the moment. I don't need to prove to anyone that I've met someone. I want to savor the moment. I want to enjoy the moment. I want to enjoy the moment. Precious, I see you again. Hey, I must go check who this Precious is. I'll see you tomorrow at church, Precious. Thank you so much for logging in. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Pretty. Miss Pretty, thank you so much. God bless you as well. Thank you so much, Precious. I appreciate you. Lim Pobai, thank you also. You are a first timer and you enjoyed the topic. Please continue to join in every... Oh, Costo, again. Costo, it can be. It can be, Costo. You must put the reminder on the phone. Hey, Ban. No, it can't be. Okay, Brenda, thank you so much, Coach, accepting my request to tell what the Lord has revealed to me and my life experience. Thank you so much. We also appreciate, and I'm grateful that your story has encapsulated the 4 steps that I've been talking about. And I'm glad that that actually really happened. Thank you so much for sharing your story and to be that open, that you would share yourself to so many people. I appreciate that. I appreciate there's a lot of people that have tuned in to hear your story. Hundreds of people have been listening to your story. And we thank God that some of them have taken from that story. And hopefully it will impact them positively. Thank you, Kate, for following us. Mahosi, good evening, family. We are out. We are out, Mahosi. We are getting out. No Nimta says, wow, this was powerful sermon. God bless you, sir. I'm definitely joining forever. I appreciate that. You are welcome to me. Thank you for following us. We appreciate you. Amen, Brenda. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matsileng M, for the gift. Oh, the crispy donut. Wow, my favorite donuts. I love donuts, guys, but only the Krispy Kremes ones. These other ones are just too fatty for me. Miss Levi, first time here, and I have learned a lot. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated, Miss Levi. I hope you are following us as well. Thank you so very much. Thank you to me. You are appreciated. Star Girl, thank you for joining us. I am closing, guys. You are much appreciated. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Nguye Faith says, do you do these lives every Saturday? Yes, every Saturday, 6:30. 6:30 every Saturday. Opdicop, 6:30. Every Saturday, you will find me right here. Join us, share your thoughts, share your experiences. Let's learn from each other. Let's begin to grow towards what God has intended us to become. He loves you, and He's the Almighty Creator. He does not create mediocrity. He does not create ordinary. He's a big God to create ordinary. So you are also not ordinary. You are an amazing piece of work. You are an amazing piece of work. Deb said, insightful, thank you. At 66, I wish more moments were captured at my late biological parents. Okay. Yeah, you see, those ones are family ones. Those you definitely need to capture for the other generations. But I'm talking about when people go on holidays, things like food, the type of motorbike you are riding on. Those things are not important, guys. Hey, enjoy the moment. Thanks, Pastor. God bless you. Thank you, Menge. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Nguye. I hope you are going to join early so that we can have Emma. Hey, Emma, were you there this whole time? I'm only seeing you now. Powerful as always. Thank you so much. You're one of my regulars. I appreciate you so much. Blue, our well-being is very important. Thank you for this chat. Thank you so much, Blue, for joining in. I think it's the first time I see you online, but thank you so much for joining. Keep well, guys. I love you so very much, and you make this very easy for me to talk to you for this long. 2 hours is a very long time, but it doesn't even feel that long when we are talking because you interact, you talk to me, you share your thoughts. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for making this easier for me. Go out there, invest in yourself. Invest in your spiritual life. Find a good church. Find a Bible teaching church that is sound so you can grow and learn. Invest in your mind. Read the right kind of materials. Expose yourself to the right TV programs. Expose yourself to good, proper music that is good for you. Expose yourself to such. Physical. Take care of your physical health. Eat right. Take walks. Exercise. Do all these things that are healthy for your body. You will be shocked at what your body can give you when you take care of it. You'll be shocked. Someone was asking me about the bags under my eyes. If I show you pictures of me when those bags were developing, woo, you will be shocked. I don't look like what I look now. And all thanks to knowing that I can change my life around and not accept where I was at the time. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. We are closing. We are closing. Thank you. Our well-being is very important. Thank you for the chat. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Favor. Much appreciated. Musa, you are also appreciated, sir. Soloku, thank you so much. Matsileng, thank you so much for the gift. Is it a perfume? And thank you, Brenda, for the roses. Much appreciated, guys. Sina Cornelius has shared the live. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for the flowers and the roses and the gifts and everything else. You are much appreciated. Thank you so very much. I think I am now at the end of the session. Let me just slide. You've been closing. I've been closing. I get it. That's what generally happens when you close. You close for like 5 minutes. Thank you guys. You are appreciated. Pri says try to extend hours, at least 5 hours. Our guys, I can't talk for 5 hours. Woo! Will be better for us. There's no ways I'm gonna sit on a chair like this for 5 hours. If I was doing a workshop with breaks in between, that's doable, but not a live, guys. 5 hours. Woo! It's not gonna be doable. Blue says I must extend. Our guys, I started doing a 30-minute session and people complained and they said they want 1 hour. And I did 1 hour. They complained and they said they wanted more. I did 1 hour, 30 minutes. They complained and said they wanted more. I did 2 hours. Now I am doing 2 hours, 15 minutes at most. Guys, I think it can't go further than that. Let's cap it here. What we have shared for that time is enough. We will share the rest for the following week. I think that's fair. Blue, I hope you guys understand. Kate, qala along rona hare Icon, I'm not starting again. You must start early. 6:30 every Saturday. 6:30 every Saturday. Porosia says, how about going live twice or thrice a week? Yeah, look, my schedule will not necessarily allow me to be able to do that. It's going to be very difficult. We'll see. If the opportunity presents itself, we'll definitely do it. Maybe a shorter live during the week, maybe an hour or 30 minutes, and then do a long one on Saturday. That's something to consider. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'll probably do the lives in the evenings. It's just that my schedule, on Tuesdays, I definitely can't. On Thursdays, I definitely can't. But sometimes my Tuesday schedule and Wednesday also interlap, it's intertwined. It can go either way. So it's sometimes a bit, yeah. So Favor says we must try 2 times a week. We'll try, guys. But I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but we'll try. Benicia says need to book a one-on-one session. Yeah, you can if you like. You find me on the inbox. Just go into my inbox and send a message. We'll arrange a session, and we should be able to cover quite a bit. So much appreciated, guys. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for following. For those who have followed, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you.